Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
A process of becoming smaller or shorter. The act of decreasing or reducing something. Decrease in size, extent, or range. The amount of homework decreased towards the end of the semester. A change downward. There was a decrease in his temperature as the fever subsided. Make smaller. He decreased his staff. The amount by which something decreases. A process of becoming smaller or shorter. The amount by which something decreases. The act of decreasing or reducing something. Change toward something smaller or lower. The statement of a theme in notes of lesser duration, usually half the length of the original. The act of decreasing or reducing something. Any process in which electrons are added to an atom or ion, as by removing oxygen or adding hydrogen, always occurs accompanied by oxidation of the reducing agent. The act of reducing complexity. The act of decreasing or reducing something. Decrease in size, extent, or range. Lessen the authority, dignity, or reputation of. Move downward and lower, but not necessarily all the way. The barometer is falling. The act of surrendering, usually under agreed conditions. Come into the possession of. When a wrestler's shoulders are forced to the mat. Fall from clouds. Rain, snow and sleet were falling. Lose an upright position suddenly. A sudden decline in strength or number or importance. The fall of the House of Habsburg. Fall or flow in a certain way. Fall to somebody by assignment or lot. A sudden sharp decrease in some quantity. When that became known, the price of their stock went into free fall. A free and rapid descent by the force of gravity. Touch or seem as if touching visually or audibly. Decrease in size, extent, or range. Come as if by falling. A downward slope or bend. The season when the leaves fall from the trees. In the fall of 1973. The time of day immediately following sunset. They finished before the fall of night. A sudden drop from an upright position. Come under, be classified or included. Fall into a category. Be inherited by. A lapse into sin, a loss of innocence or of chastity. A fall from virtue. A movement downward. The rise and fall of the tides. Assume a disappointed or sad expression. Be born, used chiefly of lambs. Be captured. Be cast down. Be due. Payments fall on the first of the month. Begin vigorously. Come out. Issue. Descend in free fall under the influence of gravity. Die, as in battle or in a hunt. Several deer have fallen to the same gun. Drop oneself to a lower or less erect position. Go as if by falling. Lose office or power. Lose one's chastity. A fallen woman. Move in a specified direction. The line of men fall forward. Occur at a specified time or place. Christmas falls on a Monday this year. Pass suddenly and passively into a state of body or mind. Fall into a trap. Slope downward. The hills around here fall towards the ocean. Suffer defeat, failure, or ruin. We must stand or fall. The lapse of mankind into sinfulness because of the sin of Adam and Eve. To be given by assignment or distribution. To be given by right or inheritance. Yield to temptation or sin. Decrease in size, extent, or range. Make smaller. Wear off or die down. A noticeable deterioration in performance or quality. A drop-off in attendance. A change downward. There was a sharp drop-off in sales. A steep high face of rock. A change downward. Make smaller. A sustained phenomenon or one marked by gradual changes through a series of states. A natural prolongation or projection from a part of an organism, either animal or plant. A bony process. A writ issued by authority of law. Usually compels the defendant's attendance in a civil suit. Failure to appear results in a default judgment against the defendant. Shape, form, or improve a material. Process iron. Deliver a warrant or summons to someone. He was processed by the sheriff. A sustained phenomenon or one marked by gradual changes through a series of states. Events now in process. Institute legal proceedings against. File a suit against. He was warned that the district attorney would process him. March in a procession. They processed into the dining room. A particular course of action intended to achieve a result. It was a process of trial and error. Psychology. The performance of some composite cognitive activity. An operation that affects mental contents. The process of thinking. A mental process that you are not directly aware of. The process of denial. Subject to a process or treatment, with the aim of readying for some purpose, improving, or remedying a condition. Process cheese. Deal with in a routine way. Process alone. Perform mathematical and logical operations on data, according to programmed instructions in order to obtain the required information. The results of the elections were still being processed when he gave his acceptance speech. The act of changing the amount or size of something. Change in size or magnitude. Lay aside, abandon, or leave for another. The car changed lanes. Cause to change, make different, cause a transformation. The discussion has changed my thinking about the issue. Exchange or replace with another, usually of the same kind or category. He changed his name. An event that occurs when something passes from one state or phase to another. The change was intended to increase sales. Become different in some particular way, without permanently losing one's or its former characteristics or essence. Her mood changes in accordance with the weather. Give to, and receive from, one another. Would you change places with me? Become deeper in tone. His voice began to change when he was 12 years old. Change from one vehicle or transportation line to another. She changed in Chicago on her way to the East Coast. A difference that is usually pleasant. It is a refreshing change to meet a woman mechanic. A different or fresh set of clothes. She brought a change in her overnight bag. A relational difference between states, especially between states before and after some event. He attributed the change to their marriage. A thing that is different. He inspected several changes before selecting one. Change clothes. Put on different clothes. Coins of small denomination regarded collectively. He had a pocketful of change. Money received in return for its equivalent in a larger denomination or a different currency. He got change for a 20 and used it to pay the taxi driver. Remove or replace the coverings of. Father had to learn how to change the baby. The action of changing something. The change of government had no impact on the economy. The balance of money received when the amount you tender is greater than the amount due. I paid with a 20 and pocketed the change. The result of alteration or modification. There were marked changes in the lining of the lungs. Undergo a change. Become different in essence, losing one's or its original nature. She changed completely as she grew older. The act of making something different, as e.g. the size of a garment. An event that occurs when something passes from one state or phase to another. The neighborhood had undergone few modifications since his last visit years ago. The grammatical relation that exists when a word qualifies the meaning of the phrase. Slightly modified copy, not an exact copy. A modification of last year's model. The act of making something different, as e.g. the size of a garment. An event that occurs when something passes from one state or phase to another. The act of revising or altering, involving reconsideration and modification. Cause to change. Make different. Cause a transformation. Add a modifier to a constituent. Make less severe or harsh or extreme. Please modify this letter to make it more polite. Insert words into texts, often falsifying it thereby. Cause to change. Make different. Cause a transformation. The advent of the automobile may have altered the growth pattern of the city. Become different in some particular way, without permanently losing one's or its former characteristics or essence. Remove the ovaries of. Make an alteration to. This dress needs to be altered. How much there is or how many there are of something that you can quantify. Add up in number or quantity. The bills amounted to $2,000. A quantity of money. The amount he had in cash was insufficient. A quantity obtained by the addition of a group of numbers. Develop into. This idea will never amount to anything. Be tantamount or equivalent to. Her action amounted to a rebellion. The relative magnitude of something with reference to a criterion. An adequate amount of food for 4 people. becoming gradually narrower. Of circumstances, tending to constrict freedom. A decrease in width. An instance of becoming narrow. The act of making something narrower. Anything lost by wear or waste. The process of wasting. A decrease of transmitted power in a mechanical system caused by slipping. Decline from a standard level of performance or achievement. Failing to hold or slipping out of place. The knots allowed no slippage. The process of reducing sensitivity. The process of reducing sensitivity. Grow worse. A condition inferior to an earlier condition, a gradual falling off from a better state. Go down in value. Show unwillingness towards. He declined to join the group on a hike. Refuse to accept. A downward slope or bend. A gradual decrease, as of stored charge or current. Grow smaller. Change toward something smaller or lower. Go down. The roof declines here. Inflect for number, gender, case, etc. In many languages, speakers decline nouns, pronouns, and adjectives. The spontaneous disintegration of a radioactive substance along with the emission of ionizing radiation. The organic phenomenon of rotting. Lose a stored charge, magnetic flux, or current. Fall into decay or ruin. The unoccupied house started to decay. A gradual decrease, as of stored charge or current. An inferior state resulting from the process of decaying. The corpse was in an advanced state of decay. The process of gradually becoming inferior. Undergo decay or decomposition. The body started to decay and needed to be cremated. The act of decreasing something markedly. The state of being depleted. A contraction of economic activity resulting in a decline of prices. Geology. The erosion of soil as a consequence of sand and dust and loose rocks being removed by the wind. A constant deflation of the desert landscape. The act of letting the air out of something. An amount or percentage deducted. A reduction in the gross amount on which a tax is calculated. Reduces taxes by the percentage fixed for the taxpayer's income bracket. Something that is inferred, deduced or entailed or implied. The act of subtracting, removing a part from the whole. Reasoning from the general to the particular, or from cause to effect. The act of reducing the selling price of merchandise.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.